just hope this goes well. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Ashton. If you're new here, welcome to my kitchen. Today we are baking because it is baking season, which is also my favorite season. But I'm finding it a little more challenging this year because if you're new here, I've been going through some health things the past year. It was this time last year when it really started like kicking off. So I've just been trying to find what works best for me. So today we are testing out some paleo recipes. Everything is going to be gluten-free, dairy-free, from the earth. I actually just had a hiatal hernia surgery. I will link that video down below. I documented my time in the hospital, my surgery and everything because it was, I don't know how to explain it. You'll just have to watch the video. But here are my battle scars in case you are interested. I always like to see things like that. These two don't have glue on them anymore. The rest, the glue still has to fall off, but that's not why we're here. Today we are baking some very fun looking recipes and I can't stop thinking about them. I'm excited. Without further ado, let's get to baking. Suiting up because I keep complaining to my husband about how I keep ruining all my clothes with oil. So he said, you might want to wear your apron, and you know what? I hate to admit that he's right, but he's right. Even though last time I did wear my apron, I still got coconut oil on my clothes. It sounds like one of my chickens is birthing like a triple yolk right now. So if you hear screeching in the background, it's chicken laying, okay? All right, let's ignore that. So this first recipe is probably the one I'm most excited about, but also the least excited about because it's very extensive compared to the rest of them. So we're gonna start with it. Burn that fuel real quick, said fuel. There are a lot of ingredients. And for this recipe, I'm taking the original recipe from the blog post and I altered it to make it a small batch because I'm gonna be the only one eating it. And what if it's not good? And I also altered a few of the ingredients because it's what I prefer, what I have. First, we're going to combine all of our dry ingredients. So we're going to do 1/4 of a cup plus a tablespoon of almond flour. This recipe took a lot of math, so if it doesn't turn out perfectly, I'm gonna be really sad, but you know what, we'll make adjustments to make it work. All right, next we're doing a tablespoon of coconut flour. And now we're doing a tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of tapioca flour. Can I just be honest and say that small batch baking is kind of hard. You have to use like the weirdest amount of ingredients. All right, we're doing 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And this sounds crazy, but we're doing 1/16 of a teaspoon of salt. I have 1/8 teaspoon right here, so I'm just gonna do half of 1/8 teaspoon. I don't even know if 1/16 of a teaspoon exists, but I'd say a pinch. I feel like nothing. We're gonna do a heaping teaspoon of cinnamon. I'd call this a heaping teaspoon. Throw that in there. We're going to do 1/8 teaspoon of ginger. Ginger has such an intimidating smell. I don't know if it's because ginger shots. Whenever I smell ginger, I'm like, it's gonna be really good and really bad at the same time. You know? Anybody else get that feeling? Maybe not. In my recipe, I put down a pinch of nutmeg. So I don't know what in my head when I wrote this down, a pinch versus 1/16 of a teaspoon difference would be. Since I have this 1/8 teaspoon in my hand, I'm just gonna do a 16-ish. Because that just makes sense to me. That's all of our dry ingredients. I'm just gonna whisk those together. I have some clumps, not loving that. Should I put this through a sifter? I probably should have put everything besides the almond flour through a sifter. All right, next we're gonna do our wet ingredients in a little bit of a bigger bowl because we will be combining them, obviously. So we're about to beat together the room temperature raw egg. Oh yeah, the 1/8 cup of pure maple syrup. If you're unaware, after you open it, it needs to go in the refrigerator, okay? By the way, considering this is just for me, I will be licking my fingers and spoons, okay? Okay, all right, we're gonna do a tablespoon of milk. I'm using homemade oat milk. I feel like I've been saving so much money since making my own milk. I've been making oat milk and almond milk, mostly oat milk because 1, it's cheaper, and 2, I ran out of almonds. And it's so easy. Like, sure, it can be kind of annoying sometimes because say I wake up in the morning and I don't have any milk to put in my coffee, then the first thing I have to do that morning is milk an oat. But you know what? It's less than a cow. Next, we're doing 1/4 of a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, if I can find 1/4 tablespoon. I don't have 1/4 tablespoon. We're just gonna fill up this 1/2 tablespoon halfway. That was a little more than half, but we're gonna go with it. We're doing 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And now we need 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of coconut oil. So the original recipe says to melt it and bring it to almost room temperature, but I don't see why I can't do the reverse and just melt it a little bit to make it a little warmer than room temperature. So we're gonna try our best to do that. A tablespoon plus a teaspoon. So tedious. Usually I measure coconut oil by weight versus using actual measuring spoons. I prefer to do everything by weight, to be completely honest. Like, I don't know why America is so weird in terms of measuring things. Can we all just get on the same page? Here is a tablespoon. Ugh, all over me. I'm just gonna eyeball a teaspoon. This is what I'm sticking with, and it's all over me. But the good thing about it is I can rub it into my skin, use it as a lotion, maybe put it in my hair. I mean, come on, we're all thinking it. My hair could use some defrizz. Oh, can't let that overheat. Now I'm gonna be so oily. And I wonder why I get oil on all my clothes. Oh. All right, there's a little bit of solid left. I'd call that almost room temperature, not completely melted. Now we're gonna add this in and beat it with a hand mixer. I did just have to take a time out to catch this one because she decided it was okay to get on the porch. Get yourself down. Yeah, we got a chicken in the house. Wanna say hi, boo-boo? Yeah? Is that how you say hi in chicken? I think it's time for you to go back outside, okay, Chica? Okay? You got grass in your nose. All right, we've got our batter, and now I'm just gonna fold in the cranberries and the carrots. The original recipe calls to put them in 2 round cake pans, and since we're doing a very tiny serving, I decided to just do 2 little ramekins, and we'll have a teeny tiny little cake. I'm gonna pop them in the oven at 350 for, I don't know how long. Let me get back to them. All right, we had a little bit of an intermission while those were baking in the oven. I changed, I was over the sleeves, and I figured, you know what, if I don't have a shirt on, I can't get oil on my shirt. Work smarter, not harder. And my hair was all in my face, so I just pulled it back with a little clip. Okay, anyway, moving on, I just pulled my little cakes out of the oven. They baked for about 25 minutes, and I just tested them with a toothpick to see if the toothpick would come out clean. It did. I really want to eat it, but we're gonna let those cool. Next up, we're going to do the second recipe that calls for a cream cheese icing as well, so that, you know, we can double dip with the cream cheese icing that I'll make in a minute. I was gonna make it next. But apparently the coconut cream needs to chill. So I put that in the fridge. We're gonna let it do its thing, and then we'll go back to that. We're doing, I think it's like maple pecan cinnamon rolls. Pecan, pecan, pick your poison, I don't care. They mean the same thing. First, we're going to mix all of our wet ingredients. I did some math on this one too to try to make 6 cinnamon rolls. That's what we're shooting for. But we're starting off with, gotta reach for my laptop. 6 tablespoons of full fat coconut milk, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of pure maple syrup, and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And something that I'm super excited about is like we're pretty much using the majority of like the same ingredients throughout these recipes. So it just makes life so much easier. And the oven's set on 350. I also cleaned all my dishes so that we can use them again because I don't have a zillion of the same thing. That's just weird and a waste of space. I don't have that kind of space. In this bowl, we have all of our wet ingredients. We're just going to mix until thick and creamy. I have my little whisk here. I just prefer a whisk when we're doing just liquids or just solids. I don't really see this getting thick and creamy though, to be honest. I feel like I should maybe be using a hand mixer. I'm gonna use my hand mixer just because.
1 eternity later.
I truly do not see this getting thick and creamy. I mixed it, it's still liquid, but you know what? We're just gonna roll with it. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and put all of our dry ingredients in the same bowl as this liquid. We're going to mix it until a large ball of dough forms, and the recipe says it should be sticky, so that should be fun. So we're gonna do 1.5 cups of almond flour, 1 cup of tapioca flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. If you're strict paleo, you can make your own baking powder, but I'm not super strict and this is easier, so this is what we're doing. I have all of my dry ingredients in the wet ingredients I'm about to mix, but I do want to say 2 things. 1, a cup of tapioca flour just feels like so much. That's a lot. And then 2, it's kind of weird to me that there's baking soda and baking powder and no salt. I'm not a professional baker, but I do bake at home a lot. And I thought that you had to have salt to make the baking soda react, but I don't know. You professional bakers out there, you know your baking science. Comment down below and let me know if that's the truth or not, because I'm a little bit confused. All right, I'm gonna use this rubber spatula and just mix it in. It's already so dry. I know I said I did the math for this. Like, I'm wondering, did I mess something up? I mean, surely this will make a dough. With it being cinnamon roll dough, it does have to be a pretty solid dough. I really wish I had a KitchenAid stand mixer. You know, I bake a lot to not have one of those, but those things are expensive. And have y'all seen the new color? The like forest green color? It's so pretty, but so expensive. I just can't imagine spending that much on a kitchen appliance. But I do want one because I want every attachment for it. I just feel like it makes so much more sense to have one thing that can do it all versus individual little things. Okay, this dough is finally starting to look right. This is looking much better. I feel like the dry ingredients should have been whisked separately beforehand. If I could go back in time and redo it, I think I would do that because I keep finding clumps. I want an evenly distributed dough. I'm just gonna use my hands and start folding this over itself. Oh yes, much better. I can't go back in time and fix the clumps. I guess I'll try to squish them out. Look, that's potato starch. Why did it get so clumpy? We've got sticky dough. There's no egg in here. All right, let's taste it. Tastes like dough. Very almond and vinegar forward dough. I am now working on the filling. First, I melted 2 tablespoons, which is 30 grams of coconut oil, and then I mixed in 2.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar, and I just mixed that a lot until it became one goo. Oh, I also did a tablespoon of maple syrup. Oh, dropped a nut. Now I'm mixing in 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon and 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of chopped pecans. This looks pretty dang good. I feel like it could use some more sugar. I'm gonna do just a little bit more sugar because technically in my notes I said 2.5 heaping tablespoons and I didn't do heaping. Now that this is mixed, I'm going to go ahead and roll out my dough on a piece of parchment paper on some tapioca flour to keep it from sticking. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. I don't want to go any thinner, and if I keep it thicker, then it's not going to make many. So now I'm going to spread the mixture evenly on it. I feel like there's a lot of this for the size. The original recipe says to leave some room on the edges to prevent it from spilling over. I'm gonna do my best to do that. I've never put nuts in cinnamon rolls like this before. Like, this is a lot of nuts. I feel like we could have done without that. Wait, which side am I supposed to leave room on? I think I'm supposed to leave room on all the sides. Okay, this doesn't spread. There's too many pecans. I feel like the liquid part should have gone first, and then if we wanted pecans, we could sprinkle the pecans on top. Okay, I seriously don't know which way to roll this. I think I'm gonna roll this way to get more swirl. So we'll have less cinnamon rolls, but bigger cinnamon rolls. And I may have put too much flour on the surface, causing it to break a little bit. And I feel like the filling should have gone further both sides. Oh well, this is all an experiment. I do want to try to make this a tight roll though. I think this is actually working pretty well. I'm just kind of putting a lot of force, pushing down and forward at the same time. The middle is a little chunky. I think because the ends are getting more force from my hands than the middle. Oh crap, I meant to sprinkle more cinnamon on it. All right, now what? Now I'm going in with some floss. I really hope this doesn't taste like mint. That would be horrible. But I'm supposed to put this underneath the log and pull it up about 2 inches in. I don't think this is gonna go under very easily. I feel like this first one's not gonna be great. Oh, look at that. It worked. Well, here's what that first one looks like. It doesn't look like a cinnamon roll. This is not going under smoothly. I need somebody to hold this up for me while I slip this under. Oh, look, I did it. Boom. Got another one. The nuts are just falling out. I got a loaf pan and just cut off this side of parchment paper to reuse it to put in the bottom of it, so I hope this works. Look at this. I did my math correctly. Since I forgot to put more cinnamon in the filling, I'm just gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on top here. I really hate that I want to eat one raw. I am that person who likes raw cookie dough, raw cake batter. We people exist. Now we're putting these in the oven at 350 for 15 to 20 minutes. The recipe says they should rise and turn golden brown. I just somehow barely touched one of the racks in there and didn't burn my hand. That was weird. Okay, next we're moving on to do our tiramisu, which I'm super excited about because I've never made one before. First we have to make our lady fingers, but we're baking it in a cake form to do it faster, and it's gonna taste good. In a bowl, we're gonna combine 1 cup of coconut flour, 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. In this bowl, I have just put 1/4 cup of coconut oil oil melted, a third cup of maple syrup, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to beat this with a hand mixer, and then I'm going to add in our dry ingredients. Here's what our cake mixture looks like, and I was thinking it looks really thick, but then I realized like we're basically just making one big cookie, so that makes sense. It looks like a cookie dough. Now I need to put this in a pan and bake it. I'm flattening this out. I don't know how flat it's supposed to be, but considering it's supposed to be like lady fingers, I feel like it should be pretty thin. And now I'm going to poke some holes on the top and bake it at 350 for, I'm gonna check it at 10 minutes. I'm really tempted to turn this dough into a sugar cookie recipe. I really might do that. Next up, I feel like we're getting a little bit weird, but we're gonna start with a half a cup of coconut milk, full fat, in a saucepan with 1.5 tablespoons of honey, and we're gonna use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. The original recipe calls for vanilla bean, but I'm not that fancy, so we're using what we've got, which is vanilla extract. And I need to figure out how much a half a can of this coconut milk is from earlier. So I need 200 grams of this coconut milk, do our honey, and then we're going to warm that over a medium heat, add a little bit to my I'm trying to show you my egg yolks, but they're falling as I try to show you. But there's 2 egg yolks in this bowl. We're gonna add a little bit of the warm mixture to that to temper them, and then we're gonna dump the yolks into the saucepan. Pulling the cake thing out of the oven. I guess it's done. It's starting to brown around the sides, so I definitely don't wanna bake it any longer. Now I'm going to whisk together this vanilla, coconut milk, and honey mixture. Now she's going on medium heat on the stove. Apparently this should take about 10 minutes to get warm. We don't want it boiling, so we want to whisk it every now and then.
A few moments later.
It has not been 10 minutes yet, but it was almost boiling. So I'm taking this off of the heat, and I'm going to try my best to do the whole tempering the egg. Let's just hope this goes well. I don't know what I'm doing. Whoa, that is bright yellow. Holy cow. Now we're going to put this in this, apparently. Am I doing this right? I don't know. What is this supposed to look like? Now we have to put this back over the medium heat for 4 to 5 minutes and let it simmer. We got this. Back to the heat we go. It should get thicker. Crossing my fingers. This is now brought to a simmer, like it said. I guess it's thicker than it was before. I'm gonna transfer this to the fridge to let it cool. The recipe says it doesn't have to cool completely if you don't have time. Who's got time? Now we're making whipped cream, apparently, with coconut cream and maple syrup. My chicken is birthing another huge egg. Gosh, I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds painful. I'm so glad I don't have to go through that every day. That just sucks. Okay, so we need a full can of coconut cream, and then we need 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup. First, it says we have to drain the water from the coconut cream. I don't even know what coconut cream is. That looks so good. What water are we draining off? I'm confused. I really don't want to screw this up because I don't have any more. That's some thick stuff. What's the difference between coconut cream and coconut milk? Oh, that's good. Oh, I seriously don't know what this means. I guess I'm going to just drain this like I would tuna. This is all water, I feel like. There ain't no way. What is the excess water? This is all pretty dang creamy in my opinion. I feel like somebody's at my house. Oh, that's the mail person. Mia was outside and the mail person came, and they usually don't deliver, but I saw her bolting from the backyard to the mail lady. Thankfully, still left my mail, so that's nice. Separating this water, there's like solids on the bottom. Is that what we want? We're gonna try just solids and see if that works. Now I need 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup. I think I'm going to use my whisk attachment on my hand mixer, whisk this, and see if this makes whipped cream. I don't have a lot of hope for this, but let's see if it works. I've finished whisking this, and this is as whipped creamy as we're gonna get. I just can't see it getting any better than this. It looks more like icing. We're gonna go with it. I also need a coffee mixture. So I do have some coffee left over from this morning, and to make it even stronger, I'm going to put some instant espresso powder in it, and then we're gonna brush our lady fingers with it. So we're gonna do lady finger, coffee, custard, whipped cream, and then do that one more time. What's the difference between a tiramisu and a trifle? Got me a long spoon so I can kind of move them to where I want them. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my brush, dab that on there. This is way too runny, but we're going with it. Oh, I think I need to let it chill just a little bit more. While this chills some more, I'll work on the cream cheese frosting to put on the cinnamon rolls and the carrot cake. I just made my cream cheese frosting. The recipe that I followed was super confusing and I wasn't quite sure how it would turn out. Not bad. I might need to let it chill for a little bit. I think I will. It has kind of a weird texture, but it tastes really good. I'm going to let it chill for a little bit so it will sit better. I will link the recipe for this down below if you want to try to follow it. When I did it, just know I used as much of the solids in the coconut cream as possible, but I was really confused. Here's why I'm choosing to thicken it just a little bit, because that's a little bit runny. I almost want to use this instead of the custard in the tiramisu. And apparently, I was reading on in the original recipe, said that you should be able to cut it. So I guess that's the difference between a tiramisu and trifle, but I think maybe we're taking more of a trifle route. I really don't know. I think it will taste good either way. I tried doing it in my food processor, but one, my food processor overheated way too quickly, and two, I wasn't gonna be able to fit the entire recipe in there, so I moved it to the blender and blended it for like 5 minutes. I'm assuming it got a little warm. Here are the cinnamon rolls before icing them. I ended up baking them probably more around 30 minutes. Here are the carrot cakes. These look so good. They're so sticky. Hope they come out of here okay. The custard has been chilling in the fridge for a while now, and it's still a little bit liquidy, but we're just gonna assemble this thing anyway and hope it just still tastes good. It definitely looks different than it did before. It looks like it's solidified in the jar. I put this in the fridge too. See how liquidy it's still, oh, that just splattered everywhere. The next layer is supposed to be our whipped cream. The directions for this recipe were not clear about how to assemble it whatsoever, and I'm a little bugged about it because now I have this hard work in an old jar. It looks like crap, and I'm a little bit bummed. So I'm done, and this is as much as I got out of it until I ran out of whipped cream. That makes me sad. I could have put this in a smaller jar and it would have looked cuter. Look at everything I have left over. All this custard. I've also got all this cookie. Now, I'm not complaining about leftover custard cookie and espresso, but I also am because it didn't fill this. Now we get to do the fun part, and I'm putting this cushion down and sitting on my knees to do it at the table right here. I'm so excited about this. I'm gonna try to get these cakes out. Got my cinnamon rolls over here. I did use a little bit of what I pulled out of the blender and just went ahead and put it on there. I wanna eat this so bad. Uh-oh. Woo, not too bad. This is a little too creamy still for icing a cake. We're gonna use it anyway. It looks ridiculous. Here is what we've got. Should I go all the way around? We have enough icing. I'm gonna put some all the way around. Rustic cakes are in, right? I'm gonna make my husband taste these. He's extremely picky, and he's gonna see this and be like, no. I'm gonna put this in the freezer just for a little bit to let it set. This is what I am most excited about. All right, some things I would change in what I have done today. These I think I would bake separately rather than them touching, because they're sticking together way too much. They're not pulling apart like regular cinnamon rolls do. And then with the custard for the tiramisu, I would definitely simmer that longer and let it get visibly more thick. And then in terms of the whipped cream, I would just find a different whipped cream recipe because I just don't think that worked. I feel like I should have made a dinner icing rather than a frosting and tasted both and see which one is better on these. I have so much of this left. I do think it could be a little sweeter and maybe add a little bit more vanilla, maybe even a dash of salt. I want these warm and gooey so bad. I do not know what to do with the rest of this frosting. More cinnamon, because why not? I'm gonna pop these in the fridge for just a minute. The best part is finally here. I'm going to taste these and see if they were worth it. I'm not gonna lie, as of right now, I feel like they were all a flop, but hopefully they taste good, all right? Also, my husband is here and I'm gonna have him taste them too and see what he thinks. He has no idea what any of these are. I think we should start with the carrot cake. Here is what it looks like. Honestly, it's kind of cute. All right, moment of truth. We know this middle is not going to be as thick of icing as I wanted. She's soft. I don't know what to do. How does one cut a cake? So small. Oh, the inside's pretty. Look at that. There's definitely not that frosting layer in the middle like I wanted, but that honestly looks really good. I can't wait to try that. Here are the cinnamon rolls. Let's just take this one. Looks like it's got a good swirl under it. That dough honestly looks really nice. Let's add that to our little dessert plate. All right, last and probably least, we have the tiramisu. in a jar. I think I'm just gonna scoop a clump out of this. Also, it did call for cocoa powder dusted on the top, so I dusted a little bit of cacao powder on the top. I don't have high hopes for this one. I feel like it's just gonna taste like a blob of coconut oil. I don't know what to get it out with. That does not look good. It kind of looks like banana pudding, but there is no banana in this. But that does sound good. Let's just plop that right down there. So we've got our 3 desserts. I'm going to patiently wait for Cortland to get out of the shower and have him try them with me. Right now, comment down below which one do you think is gonna taste the best and which one's gonna taste the worst. I think the carrot cake is gonna be the best and the tiramisu is gonna be the worst. Look how cute the little cake is. It's cute, right?
The carrot cake. Should I put a shirt on?
I mean, I don't have a shirt on. You're wet.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it's like a men's thing to not dry off in the shower. So do you have any preference of what we try first?
That one.
This one? I feel like this one would be best hot, like heat it up in the microwave. Cheers. That used to be warm.
What was that?
Paleo maple pecan cinnamon.
Dragons.
What do you rate that out of 10?
What is a 10?
Whatever you want a 10 to be.
You'd like something 5.
I think I agree, but I think it would go up a point warm. But I think it needs to be sweeter too.
I concur.
Which one's next?
How many are there?
There's 3. There's the cinnamon
Oh,
roll,
let's do
the
this
cake, and then tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
Okay, we gotta try it.
A much smaller bite.
Well, this is layered, so you gotta.
Oh.
I would go in sideways.
Okay.
Ah, I dropped mine on the table. 1, 2, 3.
Alright. It's too grainy. Ugh. Oh, that took a hard left turn. Nope.
How?
Nope. It's like a 1.
I actually didn't mind mine. Maybe I got like a good part.
Ugh.
I liked what I got.
I cannot say the same. That was really bad.
I would give that a 5 as well.
Yeah, it's all 1.
But also, it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. All right, did we save the best for last?
I don't know. Maybe. Very small bite.
You gotta make sure you get the frosting too.
I got the frosting too.
Okay, and these have all been like in the fridge and kind of cold,
Okay.
so.
That's not bad.
Really?
I give it like solid like 6.5.
That's impressive.
Pretty good.
I think I want sweeter cream cheese frosting. I think I'm gonna give that a 5 too.
Really?
Well, I don't know, because it's better. I really don't know. We'll go 5. I'm
Time
going
for
for
it to
5.
make more.
Huh?
Time for it to make more.
Well, honestly, I thought all of these were gonna be epic fails, but I don't think they really were.
Carrot cake was good.
Huh?
Carrot cake was good.
I thought the cinnamon roll was gonna be the best. No, I thought the carrot cake was gonna be the best and the cinnamon roll
I
okay,
think I
but
agree with you. Cinnamon roll probably would have been better just warmer. You good?
I'm just a little bit bummed.
Good.
Guess that was it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! As Mia's dropping food on the floor to eat as a freaking weirdo.
Living life every day.